Hey, honor 6th graders and 7th graders. We're just going to do a quick review on adding and subtracting fractions. Here's my little work buddy for the day. This is Orange Kitty. He's my rescue cat. As you can see, he's missing some hair over here, but he's doing better. He will probably might get in our way today, so hopefully we can get this done. Okay, so I have sent you this page. So you have two options. You can print this out and do it with me, or you can just do the notes on a separate piece of paper. It truly does not matter to me which way you do this, okay? But if you do it and have the notes, it might be a little bit easier if you can print out the page, okay? All right, so we're gonna start here. Fractions and mixed numbers can be added and subtracted by the following steps. Find the common denominator. Okay, so that is the first thing you have to do. You have to find remember it's the numerator and the denominator, right? So you have to you need a common denominator. You need a number that both numbers go into evenly, okay? All right, so the second step is you're gonna multiply each fraction by 1 or the other denominator, okay? So I'm gonna say multiply each fraction, and I'm going to add on a little here, by 1. Now my 1 might be different, okay? I might do one number as 3 over 3 equals 1. I might do a different number as 4 over 4 equals 1. But literally what I'm doing is I'm multiplying them by 1, okay? All right, third step, add or subtract the numerators. Huge thing, leave the denominators the same. That means you do not add the denominators. If it's like this first problem here, that's 2/3 plus 3/4, you do not add the 3 and the 4. You can never add the denominator, okay? You have to have a common denominator, and then you add the numerators. And then you simplify your answer, kind of like we did the other day where you have equivalent fractions. I just want it in simplest terms. All right, so we're gonna do a couple here. So if I have 2/3 plus 3/4, what do 3 and 4 both go into? Now I can use my least common denominator, which would be the first number they go into, or I can always multiply my denominators by themselves. Okay, so if I wanna use 12, which in this case I have to, this would be 12ths and this would be 12ths, okay? What I did is I'm gonna say, well, I had to multiply 3 times 4 to get 12. So I had to multiply this by 4 over 4. Remember, is 1. 2/3 times 4 over 4 is 2/3. It's 2/3 times 1. It's just gonna change my numerator, my denominator, okay? On this side, I had to multiply it by 3 over 3. That's always an easy way to do it. You may have to reduce at the end. You just multiply it by the other denominator, okay? Make it 1. So 4 times 2 is 8. 3 times 3 is 9. It has to be 12ths, okay? I cannot have anything but 12ths when both these denominators are 12. It is not 24. All right, I add the numerators. 8 plus 9 is 17. All right, now simplest form is going to mean that you make it a whole number and a fraction, or you make it just a whole number depending on how many it goes in, or it's just in lowest terms. It's simplest form fraction. This is improper, okay? If you remember how to do impropers, I'm gonna talk you through it. You literally say how many 12s go into 17. If my numerator is bigger, it's improper. So 12 goes into 17 one time. I have 5 left over because 1 is 12 over 12, right? So 12 went in once. I have a remainder of 5 over 12. So that's how I would put that in lowest terms. Okay? All right, the second one is 4/7 plus 2/3. Now I'm gonna look at my denominators and I'm gonna say that's a 7 and that's a 3. They're not the same, okay? So I would say, okay, well, if I multiply, I know 7 and 3 both go into 21. So 7 times 3 is 21, and 3 times 7 is 21. Whatever I did to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. So that gives me 12 21sts. That gives me 14 21sts. Okay? Now, these aren't going to be in lowest terms because I changed the fraction. I got equivalent fractions. So I am going to do 12 plus 14, which is 26, over, can I add these two denominators? No, 21. All right, so I would say 21 goes into 26 one time. 1 times 21 is 21. So I have 5 left over. That's my answer in lowest terms. Okay? All right, on my third one, I have a subtraction problem. So I have 5/8 and I have 1/12. Now there's a couple ways I could do this. I could multiply 8 times 12. I get 96, and I can use it as my denominator. Or I could say, what do I know that 8 and 12 both go into? Well, 12 times 1 is 12. 8 doesn't go into 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 8 does go into 24. Okay, so I'm going to want to use 24. It's just easier in the long run. Minus, don't forget the minus sign. Okay, what did I multiply 8 by to get to 24? I multiplied 8 times 3. So I'm going to multiply 5 by 3. I get 15 24s. Because 5/8 times 1 is still 5/8. It's just different numerator and denominator. I had to multiply 12 by 2 to get to 24, so I'm going to multiply 1 by 2, and I get 2 24s. Okay? Now, I'm not going to add the numerators because it's a subtraction problem. I am going to subtract them, but my denominator is still the same. So I have 15 minus 2, and I get 13 24s. Okay? We're just going to do the fractions today, not the mixed numbers. The rest of the note page has mixed numbers on it. We are literally just doing the fractions today. We're going to do a little bit of practice together, and then we should be good. Okay? All right. That was from my last class. All right, so let's just say there's 2 ways. You have to have remember, you have to have a common denominator, and then you add or subtract the numerators. What happens if I already have a common denominator? So let's say I've got 5 12s plus 3 12s, and I already have 12s. Don't change that. They're both 12s. It's already done for you. You know it's got to be 12s. They're already the same. So all I have to do if my denominators are the same is add or subtract the numbers. This is an addition problem, so I would do 5 plus 3 is 8. Now, that number is not in lowest terms. How do I know that? Just by looking at it? I mean, even if I wasn't fabulous with my multiplication facts, 8 is an even number, 12 is an even number. What goes into all even numbers? 2. So I know it can't be in lowest terms because I know at least 2 goes into it. But if I think about it, I also know that 4 goes into both of these. So if I divide by 4 over 4, remember, I'm not changing my number because 4 over 4 is 1. I'm really dividing by 1. 8 12s divided by 1 is 8 12s. The numerator and denominator will change, but it's still equal to 8 12s. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. 12 divided by 4 is 3. My answer is going to be 2/3. Okay? Now, the other thing, let's say that I didn't realize it was 4, and I'm thinking it's 2. Okay? Just not got my thinking cap on today, and I'm like, well, they're both even numbers, so I know 2 goes into them. Divided by 2, divided by 2. Just remember, whatever you do to the numerator, you have to do to the denominator. So if I did 8 divided by 2, I get 4. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 4 and 6 are both even numbers. I can keep reducing till I just cannot reduce anymore. I never use a decimal in a fraction, okay? I will with rates and ratios, but never in a fraction. All right, so I'm going to lay like, oh yeah, well 2 still goes in here, so I'm going to divide by 2 again. And I'm going to get 4 divided by 2 is 2, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So it really won't matter which way you did it. If you realize that 4 went into both those numbers, good for you. You only had to do 1 reducing step. If you went by 2s, you had to do 2 reducing steps on this one, okay? Same with subtraction. You just really have to be careful when it's an addition problem and when it's a subtraction problem, because sometimes you forget. You think I'm doing all addition, and you kind of forget. All right, so here's what I want you guys to do right now. You're going to do 3 problems for me, put in your answers, and then we'll see how you did afterwards. So the first one I want you to do is going to be 1/5 plus, let's see, 4/5. Common denominator, okay? The second problem I want you to do for me is going to be 2/3 plus, what's a good number? 7/8. Okay? And then the third problem I want you to do for me, there's only going to be 3, is going to be 4/5 plus 9/20. Okay? I should have put a subtraction problem in there. All right, we'll do one more. Sorry. We're going to do 4 problems. Who knew? I'm going to do a subtraction problem. So if I have 19/21 minus 3/7. Okay? So I'm going to stop my video, and you are going to do those 4 problems, and then we'll come back to check them, okay? And remember, if you have questions, you come to the support session, or you come to the, Wednesday Learning Lab. I forgot what I was going to say. All right, I will see you guys in 1 minute. All right, we're back. So let's do these. Let's do this. All right, so if I had 1/5 plus 4/5, I'm going to get, it's already fifths. 1 plus 4 is 5/5. What is 5 divided by 5? 1. Or I could divide by 5, and I get 1 whole. My pen's, I throw that orange pen out, he's dying. All right, second one, I've got 2/3 plus 7/8. All right, I have different denominators, which means I have to find a common denominator. What do 3 and 8 both go into? Well, 3 is a prime number, so chances are I'm going to have to multiply these together to get that, because I just do. Because 3 is prime. 8's not, but 3 is. So I would do 3 times 8 is 24. So I know it's going to be something 24 plus something 24. So I'm going to start there because it makes my life easier. I multiplied 3 by 8 to get to 24. So I multiply 2 by 8 and I get 16 24ths. I multiplied 8 by 3 to get to 24. So I have to multiply 7 by 3 because 3 over 3 is 1. I get 21 24ths. Okay? Add them together, that's 24. 21 plus 16 is 37. Is that in lowest terms? No, it's improper. So I'm going to say how many 24s would fit into 37, which is 1. I can't get above 1 when that's a fraction and that's a fraction. If they're not improper fractions here, it can only go in one time because this is less than 1 and this is less than 1. I can't get something more than 2. All right. So sometimes when you do that, it's easy. When it goes in once, really all I have to do is subtract these 2 numbers. So I would just do 37 minus 24. So I get 13 24ths. So I said 24 went into 37 one time. I have 13 left over out of 24. All right, next one. I told you I'm going to breeze through these. All right, I've got 5 and 20. What's the common denominator? What happens if 5 goes into 20, which it does? So I don't want to make this 100. I'm going to say, well, I know 5 goes into 20, so I'm going to keep 20. All right. So what did I multiply 5 by to get to 20? I multiplied 5 by 4. So I have to multiply 4 by 4. And I get 16 20ths. All right, what did I multiply 20 by to get to 20? I multiplied it by 1. So I can either just leave this fraction and carry it over. Or if you like the multiplication to keep it up, I multiplied by 1, I multiplied by 1. Okay, that's literally what I did. So you could do it either way. You can just carry it over because it's the same denominator. Or you could do the times 1 if that makes it easier for you. Then I'm going to add these up. 16 plus 9. You know how I had 16 and 9 really fast? I do 16 plus 10, which is 26, minus 1, because that's 9, not 10. I get 25 20ths. 20 goes into 25 one time. I have 5 20ths left over. All right, here's my problem again. I'm gonna have to go way down here. All right, I have 1. What goes into 5 and 20? They're both, this ends in a 5, that ends in 0, which means 5 goes into both of them. So I would do 5 divided by 5 gives me 1, 20. I'm going to divide by 5 over 5. I kind of ran out of room there, so. And then I would do 20 divided by 5 is 4. So my answer is 1 1/4. I'll circle my answers so we know what they are. All right, and then last one. I had 19 21st minus 3 7s, and I'm like, I don't want to multiply 7 times 24, but does 7 go into, 21? 7 does go into 21. So 21 is going to be my denominator. Again, I didn't do anything to this 19, so I'm just going to carry that over. It's still 19 21s. It has the same denominator. This is the one I've got to change. So I multiplied 7 times 3 to get to 21. I'm going to multiply 3 by 3 to get to 921. Whatever I do to the denominator, I do to the numerator. Now I can subtract it. 19 minus 9 is 10. 21, denominator always stays the same. All right, and we are finished. So if you did not get those answers, make sure you go back, rewatch the video, or just go through my work and see what you did wrong. If you got them and just didn't put them in lowest terms, that's a step that needs to be included in there, but at least I know you're kind of on the right track. Remember, if you need extra help, you can come to the support sessions or you can come to the Learning Lab on Wednesday, and you will get help there, and I will help you through any problem you need to. All right, you guys have a fabulous day, and I will talk to you later.